Hi everyone, Natasha here and around my home today. I am in my office. It is late on Sunday afternoon and I'm finally getting a chance to film. My family had a fun event last night, which meant we had a really late night, so it's a little bit of a slow day, but that's okay. We're going to talk about planning for the holidays and using my Fly Lady holiday control journal and getting that set up for a new season. So stay tuned for that and welcome to my office. Welcome back to my home. I'm so glad you're joining me today for another planning video. On Sundays, I like to share how I use paper planners to help with organizing my life. And it is a slow day for us. As I mentioned, we had an event last night, so you might have noticed if you've been following along with some of my planning videos that I have been planning an Oktoberfest event for one of my jobs, and that was last night. So we had a great time. My husband and I both were able to dress up. And I actually got to borrow a dirndl from my sister who got it in Germany. So it was nice to have an authentic outfit to wear. And we had a great time. It was a little bit of a late night for the family, but overall it was a fun evening. And I'm mostly just really glad it went well and it's over. So today I have been just catching up on a few things around our home, getting ready for a new week. I've also taken a nap, which has been really good. And then I just spent a little bit of time up here in my office working on setting up my holiday control journal for a new season. So here it is, my holiday control journal. And this is one that I've used for probably the last 6 or 7 years. I started it when my daughter was much younger because I felt like I needed a way to put all of the swirling thoughts that go with the holiday season down on paper, have it slightly organized, and I also wanted to join along with the Fly Ladies Cruising Through the Holidays missions. So if you're not familiar, I'll have the Fly Ladies website linked down below, and she has a special holiday control journal you can print off. Basically, a control journal is, you can think of it like a manual or a planner or a guidebook or a reference book. It can be whatever name you want to call it, but it's the thing that you're going to put together all of your notes, all of your plans, all of your schedules, all of your lists, and have it all in one place so that you can manage whatever the thing might be. So the holiday control journal you could use to plan the holidays. You could also use it to plan a birthday party or an anniversary gathering, just whatever works for you. So I like to use mine. We start with the Cruising Through the Holiday missions with the Fly Lady in mid-October. So I haven't started yet, but I'm starting by getting my holiday control journal ready to go. And the Fly Ladies Cruising Through the Holiday missions are basically daily tasks, Monday through Friday, that let us just work in baby steps getting ready for the holidays. And we start in mid-October so that by December 1st, everything is done. And we can just enjoy the holidays and pretend like we're going on a cruise on the 1st of December. So we have to have everything done before we leave. But really, it's just getting everything done before the big holiday season starts, especially here in the US after Thanksgiving. Then from Thanksgiving on, it's all full-blown holiday. I know we have Christmas gatherings and school events and work parties and extra things going on in our town. So there's just always a lot to do. And it's nice to be able to have some of the nitty-gritty things about the holidays already planned and prepped and ready to go so that when that busy time comes, I'm not adding to it with the stress of keeping up with all the other stuff, along with getting gifts ready and thinking about what we're going to eat and figuring out what we're going to wear and all of those little things. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll show you what I have mostly in the front of my holiday control journal. As you get towards the back, it's going to be a little bit more personal names and stuff like that I don't want to show. But you can look on the website and get your holiday control journal. And my biggest tip, if you are kind of new to the Fly Lady system, or this is your first time using one of her control journals, because she also has just a regular one that you can use for managing your home. My biggest tip for her system is to remember 2 things. First of all, her main goal is for us to be nice to ourselves. So be kind to yourself. Don't pile on. Don't think you have to do everything. If you notice your perfectionism kicking in, just remind yourself the whole point is to be kind to ourselves and make it easier. So if it doesn't feel easier, then take a step back and reevaluate how you're doing it. And my second tip is to remember with this system, She is giving us guidelines, but in the end, we are the executive. We make the final decision. We decide what is right for each of us. So some of what I know people, including myself, get hung up with her system is trying to do it all exactly. And I've read several of her books, and I know she always talks about she had the same problem herself because she was trying to pile on all these things that she thought she should be doing. And the goal and the key to her system is to build habits with these little baby steps and to pull from it what works for you and what you need in your life and to let go of the rest. So as you're building your habits, you don't need to be documenting and checking things off lists anymore. If it's really truly a habit and you're doing it and it's helping and it's making your life easier. If you find you're doing things too much and it's not feeling like it's helpful, then step back or cut back on how much you're doing those things. And you don't have to have it all done in the way that she lists. Those are just her general guidelines. For the most part, what I find is she's helping us build some good daily habits on taking care of ourselves, taking care of our household, taking care of our family, in whatever aspect that looks like for us. So things like making your bed, getting the dishes cleared out of the sink, making sure you know what you're going to wear tomorrow. Those are things that are just going to help our day run smoothly and take a little bit of the stress off because we're not having to make so many decisions every day when we get started. And then the second layer to her system is establishing some routines and how your weeks and your months flow. And I like to think of this as if I was talking to my great-grandmother. So when she was a young woman, life was very different. She had a Model T that she had to crank to get started, and she drove that 30 miles to go to college and was a very independent woman. She became a school teacher and had to chop wood and bring in water every day when she got to school for the schoolhouse. She ran that schoolhouse and all of the students were in various grades. She taught all of them. She had to close down the schoolhouse and then drive back home. So when I think of her life, I know that she did a lot of pretty amazing things when I think about the time period and what she was doing. And she did a lot of it by having some simple routines in place that she just knew. So she had a certain day of the week that was always her wash day. She had a certain day of the week that she did the ironing. She had daily chores that were meant to keep up with the farm that she lived on, gathering eggs, feeding the chickens, that kind of thing. She had certain things that just established a good household routine and kept things running. She raised children and had a full life. And when I think about that, it helps me look at the Fly Lady system a little differently and keep in mind that the whole point is to establish some things that help me move kind of on autopilot through my days and my weeks and not feel like I'm having to reinvent the wheel each time. So hopefully that all makes sense. Let me know your comments down below if you've been trying to use a Fly Lady system and maybe got hung up with trying to do too much or trying to layer on too many things. I think what's best is just to pull from it what you need, make those systems and those routines and those habits help improve your life, and then just let go of what's not working at the moment. Now, without further ado, we're going to turn the camera. I'll show you what I can of my control journal, and we'll also talk about my secondary notebook that I use to travel with. So all of my main plans go in my holiday control journal, but last year I wanted to have something a little bit smaller that I could take with me that would be mainly for gift buying, because those are the things that sometimes I'm just out and about and I think of ideas or I see something and I want to either jot it in my book or write down that I've bought it already so that I'm keeping up with my gift buying. So this will be something we just kind of briefly talk about, but mainly we're going to look at the holiday control journal. So here we go. So here we have my two notebooks. Like I said, this is my little collection of travel inserts that I'll be taking with me. So what I'll do, this is a cover and some discs from Jane's Agenda. And last year in the November, December boxes, we got some good inserts for gift giving and tracking gifts, order lists, things like that. So I decided just to hold those items here in this little notebook I created, and then what I'll do is take out the ones I need and put those in my planner as we get closer to the holidays. So for now, this is really just a storage tool to keep those items together that are just holiday related. So this will stay here in my office, and then like I said, I'll pull out the ones I need once I'm setting up more of a holiday section in my planner because I need something to take with me on the go. I tend to just find gifts randomly while I'm grocery shopping and doing things like that. And I don't necessarily want to carry my entire holiday control journal with me. So I like having those extra inserts that I just keep in my planner, and I can track just the gift buying part of things. So here is my holiday control journal. It is a binder. It's kind of growing. Each year I add a few things to it. I just cut apart a gift bag that I found and I liked and made that the insert for the cover. And you may hear a lot of traffic. I live near several wineries and it's the end of the day at the wineries, so there's a lot of people heading home, so you'll just have to bear with me on that. So I did go through and clean up the beginning of this binder because I had kind of shoved a lot of stuff in here towards the end of last year and it needed to be reorganized a little bit. So I have two things in the front. This is something that came in one of the At Home with Nikki N style subscription boxes when I was getting those, and it's just her tips on tying a bow. So I just kind of like to have that in there as a reference. And then this was something that I feel like sometimes I need a refresher on, is how to do these gift exchanges, because several of our families group gatherings, we tend to play those games, and everybody's rules are a little bit different, but it's nice to just have that as a quick reference. So I've added a pocket here at the front for receipts. What I had before was just an envelope taped to the front of my cover sheet, but that was all getting kind of ratty and kind of falling out, and the holes were getting a little rough looking. So I just added this clear zipper pouch here so that I can collect my receipts as I go through the holiday season, and that helps me keep an eye on the budget. Then I have the cover sheet from the Fly Lady Holiday Control Journal. I just went through one time and colored her in a little bit and then added the decorative washi to make it feel a little more festive. Now, the whole point of these is it's really a working document. It's not meant to be a scrapbook. It's not meant to be like beautiful. So every once in a while I'll go in and add some stickers or something to make it look a little more fun and festive, just because that does make me enjoy using it. But I try to keep that to a minimum so I'm not spending too much time just making it look pretty but not actually taking care of the plans and getting the things done. So this is the last page from the whole holiday control journal that I stuck here at the front, just to remind me sort of the inspiration behind why we're doing it and how she has it set up. And then this is a cheat sheet from Diane in Denmark, and I just thought this was handy, and I can use either a Sharpie to check things off as I go or a dry erase marker. I'll probably use a Sharpie because then it won't get smudged, and then you can just use rubbing alcohol to clean it off at the end of the season. If you have a wet erase marker, that would work too, but I don't think I have any of those. So we just went through the first week, and so far I've worked on getting a few things together. Actually, I went through and discovered I had a whole bunch of the empty tubes from wrapping paper down in the bin where I keep all my wrapping paper. So I've pulled those empty tubes out, and those are going to be going with my daughter to school because they have a STEM class every few days, and they love to bring in just bits of recycling that you would basically put in the recycling bin. They bring those in, and then they get to be creative and make things out of them. So she was really excited to have a whole bunch of these empty holiday wrapping tubes to put in there. And I've got my holiday control journal set up, so we're doing good on that. I have been continually working on decluttering, so I feel like I'm always doing that. And my errand day and my budget. Errand day is just something I do every week anyway. So this week, I think I'll say that's done. And I haven't established a budget yet for Christmas, so that's something I want to work on. Then I have the beginning part of the holiday, cruising through the holidays journal. So this is just some tips, her 11 steps on how to do things. And, you know, keep things in mind where you're helping yourself and you're making it fun. I like how she has tips like, your family can't read your mind, help them and help yourself by letting go of the holiday martyr. Write down what you would like for a gift and give them your list. We ask our children to do this so that we at least have some idea all they want to do is please you. So just some fun tips like that. And then I went through and collected all of her, like the tasks for each cruising through the holiday mission and sorted them into the weeks. You wouldn't have to have that. I just like to have that as a reference in case I don't want to get out my phone and watch her videos. I can just flip this open and see what we need to do there. Then if you're catching this a little bit late or you don't have time to get through all of them, there's also the holiday super cruising missions. So the first 15 days of December, we're basically going to wrap up anything that's still pending, or if you're just getting started, then you can do all the things. So I just made myself a cheat sheet of that, and I printed those off as well. Again, you don't have to do that. It just kind of helps me to have that as a reference. And the last part of the holidays is, of course, cleaning up. So I liked having the cleanup missions in here too. And I have playlists for both the cruising through the holidays missions and for the holiday cleanup missions. So I'll link both of those playlists down below if you prefer to watch and have me kind of walk you through each day's task. You can watch those and just work along with me there. Then I have things like my Christmas card list, and this is something I did years ago, I think when my husband and I first got married, and it worked out well to do 3 years at a time. And what I do is I check mark if I've sent them one, and then also if I've received one. And it's not this hard and fast rule. I just kind of like to look to see if it's been multiple years that I've been sending them one and they haven't sent me one back. I can kind of think about that person and that, family and decide, do I want to keep sending them one just because we'll always consider them someone we want to send a card to, or maybe we've kind of moved on. You know how friends come and go in our lives sometimes, or our lives change a little bit and maybe we sort of lose touch with one group but then gain friends in another group. So it just gives me a chance to kind of reevaluate who's on my list and who maybe I want to let go of and not be sending a card to. And I also started this Christmas card list in this Leuchtturm notebook. This was like a little mini insert that came in one of my Leuchtturm notebooks when I was bullet journaling, and it's an address book. So I liked having that just as a backup. If I wanted to bring that with me or keep that with my Christmas cards, I could, and I still had access to everybody's information. But really, this main spreadsheet is the one that I use the most because it's real easy to just go down the list, check off that I've sent them their card, and have everybody's names, address, and phones all there. Okay, and then this is a pocket that I use to keep stickers and return address labels as they come in. This was a card I found randomly and I stuck that in there. Then I have my daughter's school pictures. So whenever they do their fall school pictures, I always order enough to be able to send the little, like a 2x3 photo to the family and some of our close friends. And when those come in, I just know to immediately put them in my holiday control journal so that when I'm writing out my Christmas cards, I have those there. And then some of the close family, like my parents and my husband's parents, we give them a larger print of her and they have a framed photo that just hangs in their house. And every year I update the photo that goes in there for them. So that stays in here. And I think this year, this was actually her spring photo from earlier this year, and then we just got in the fall photos. They both turned out good, so I just thought, well, we'll use them both and have extra photos we can send out to people. Then last year we picked up the gnome from Aldi, and it was so much fun. So it was really exciting to put this all together because I didn't have these in sleeves just until today. So now, and we do an elf as well. So it's just kind of fun since we just have the one child. It makes our holiday season a little bit more fun that she gets to go around and find the elf and the gnome every morning. And they usually just kind of get up to fun stuff. Every once in a while, they might bring a little bit of a treat, but I even found things like this from last year. This was just like in a little newsletter, and I thought, oh, this will be perfect. I'll put that in there. Maybe the elf or the gnome will be working on that one morning. And I also have this letter. So this came from Dawn, the Minimal Mom, and she has a nice option if you want to do the elf, but kind of make it more about, not so much about getting, but also giving, then you can have the elf bring this letter to your child and help them encourage the child to give away some things they're no longer using so that other children might be able to use it. And then this is a letter, a Santa letter that they can have, the elf can encourage your child to do as well. Then I have a pocket for stickers because I just randomly will find some fun holiday stickers and like to use those sometimes. This was an advent calendar, a self-care advent calendar from a blog called Back to Her Roots. I don't know if she's still around, but I had printed it out one year, and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It's just kind of nice to have it in here as a reminder. And And then we get into some of the more detailed things. So this is where I'm probably not going to flip through the pages individually just because I don't want to show you all the details. But this is the main bulk of what the holiday control journal has in it. So things like your family traditions, your menus, your recipes, a calendar and some guidelines on how to plan things, gift list, baking, travel plans, your budget. She really thinks of all the things that would go along with the holiday season. So like I mentioned, I'm just going to be using some of my gift buying inserts that are in here and the gift list inserts to help me organize gifts a little bit better and keep that in my planner. And then the main bulk of everything will still be here in my holiday control journal from the Fly Lady. And this might be, I don't know how many more years I'll be able to use this binder. I might have to grow to a little bit bigger binder, but it is really fun to have everything gathered together in this one book. And when I get it out, it gets me excited for Christmas. Plus I know I have everything I need here. So there we go. I hope that was helpful for you to see my holiday control journal and my little travel journal that goes around with me, and how I'm just going to be taking some of those pages out, putting them in the back of my planner. So I'll just have a little holiday section in my planner since I always have my planner with me, and how that whole system works for me. I'd love to hear in the comments down below if you are getting started with the holiday control journal and doing the Fly Ladies cruising through the holidays missions. I love to watch Diane in Denmark. I think she does a really great job of taking the Fly Ladies system and distilling it down into its key components and the parts that we really need to pay attention to, yet she still makes it fun and it's easy to follow along and feel like we're doing things to better ourselves and our homes. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that gave you some ideas on how to start preparing for the holiday season. Don't forget to come back on Tuesday for another Tiny Tidy Tuesday video where I'll be sharing another box from the basement, and on Friday for another beautifully organized in 52 weeks. Other than that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button on your way out, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good one. Bye.